Welcome to Talk to Me Baby, the show that believes knowing yourself and living in accordance with who you are is the biggest asset you can possess in life. I am your host, Emily de Armas, and today we are talking about impatience and what it actually means and what it is trying to reveal to you. There's a scene from Gilmore Girls that I love where the character Paris is talking to her schoolmates and she says, "Have I ever been mistaken for a patient person?" And that's how I feel. I don't think that I am particularly patient. We're going to dive in to the different ways that your impatience might show up. But first, we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping. So, I would love for you to become a spiller. Join the Petal Spill. It is my email list. Petals is in like flower petals spilling. It's a really fun time. I would love to have you on there. And also, please do all of the internet things, like comment, subscribe, rate the podcast. I'm building a community and I would love to hear from you. Now, another point that I wanted to bring up before we get involved in this episode is something else quickly that I want to mention because we are doing this real time, okay? These episodes are not preconceived. Yes, I have kind of a running list of potential topics, but really it's whatever I feel most inspired by each week. And this week, I was inspired by a conversation with a friend and my own experience, what I'm going through right now. It's kind of like on Grey's Anatomy, you know, how the patients and what they were dealing with always kind of mirrored what was going on behind the scenes for the doctors and the nurses and all of the characters. So it's a similar kind of a vibe here. The last thing that I want to mention to you briefly before we get started is that because this is a real time podcast, we are playing with the format as we go, and you are on this journey with me. I just wanted to bring up that in each of the episodes, I have been following a similar format, which is that we do the zoom in and the zoom out. And we're still going to do the zoom in and the zoom out, except I'm going to rebrand it so that it's a little more in line with the title of this podcast. So we are going to do small talk and then we're going to do deep talk. So let's get into it, shall we? Let's do small talk. Impatience. We have all experienced impatience, and there are different types of impatience. So there's circumstantial impatience or an external impatience. You are late for something, you have to be somewhere, and you are stuck in traffic behind the slowest people in the entire universe. You are in the checkout line, and this woman is moving at a glacial pace. She is moving so slowly, and dear help me God, she is about to pay in cash. Get me the hell out of here, right? Those are external reasons why somebody might feel a sense of impatience because you are supposed to be somewhere. You're supposed to go do something. Maybe you are on a deadline. Maybe you're trying to accomplish something. And now there's an external condition in your environment which is causing you further delay and stressing you out. It is normal to feel impatient in those instances. And I'm sure we can all relate to that, right? We have all picked the wrong checkout line at the grocery store, right? So aside from the external factors, other times we are just impatient in general in life. And we could attribute that to the fact that society these days moves quite quickly. We're running in this very fast paced type of lifestyle. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that I stopped working in corporate, but now I feel like because I don't commute, I have way higher patience levels when it comes to traffic. And I find I'm the one that everyone is passing because I'm like, oh, where are y'all going? I'm just going to the grocery store. I'm just moseying along. I don't have anywhere I really need to be. I'm just going to work from the cafe. But aside from fast paced life, right, and society, there are people who feel a sense of impatience whenever they are forced to slow down. Even if there's no external factor like, oh, I'm late now, and so now I'm stressed out. Simply by having to slow their pace a little bit, they become impatient. And if this is you, then the questions that we're going to ask are going to be really helpful because it's going to help you examine, why do I feel so impatient? When you're forced to slow down because something is happening and there's a situation that is making you feel impatient, it is forcing you to be present. And that is directly at odds with the feeling of impatience because the root of the feeling of impatience is I don't want to be here. There's somewhere else that I need to be, and I don't want to be here in this present moment. And oftentimes we feel impatient because we are trying to run away from the present moment or we're not accepting the present moment. Okay, Eckhart Tolle has a quote that says, "Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it." And this is the other side of impatience and why we struggle with impatience, because our reality is at odds with our expectations. We didn't think this was going to take so long. We thought we were going to get an answer quickly. We thought this person was going to respond to us sooner. We thought that this process wasn't going to take as long. We didn't think that we were going to have to wait the extra few days for the package to come. Whatever we're getting is out of line with our expectations. And that's what's actually causing the friction. It's not really the situation itself. And the beauty of this quote by Eckhart Tolle is that if you choose to just accept the situation that you're in for what it is and not what you wish that it were, you can start to relax and you can start to come down a little bit from that tension and from that anxiety. Because again, the root cause of impatience is I don't want to be where I am. I am somewhere and I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. I don't want to be stuck at this light. I don't want to be talking to this person on the phone. I don't want to have to call the bank because the check didn't go through. When you can accept the situation for whatever it is, even if it's not what you expected, then you can start to settle down, because really the issue here is your expectations. It's not so much the situation itself. And this ties into the idea of being present, because a lot of us are running away from things. And impatience, I think, sometimes can manifest itself as an extension or a friend of anxiety. Because when you are forced to slow down or you are forced to be in a situation where you do feel impatient, the best way to combat that is to accept the present moment. And if you have a hard time accepting the present moment, if you don't know how to be present with yourself, if you don't know how to just sit back and let life be whatever it is, then that's when, again, you feel that sense of tension. Now, on a bigger scale, we know that these moments we're dealing with are not that big of a deal, right? Like, the fact that you're stuck in the grocery line is not the end of the world. When you thought it was only going to take you 15 minutes, it's not the end of the world. Your Haagen-Dazs is not going to melt. Like, you're fine. We know this. So the tension that we're feeling is entirely self-generated and self-created, because we're simply finding ourselves in a situation that we weren't expecting to be in or that we didn't want to be in. Impatience is often friendly with anxiety about being present, because being present means that you have to accept where you are. You have to actually look at where you are. And a lot of us don't want to actually be present in our lives. We're in this go, go, go kind of rat race as a way to avoid reality and as a way to avoid feeling discomfort. And so we manifest that as impatience and as anxiety. And it's externally focused, but really it's all coming from within. So now we're going to do deep talk, because there is another layer underneath I don't want to be here. And you might not feel the day-to-day impatience as much. I know I don't. Generally speaking, I only feel that sense of impatience when there's an external factor. Aside from those instances, the major form of impatience that I often feel is about bigger picture things. So things that I'm trying to shift in my life, whether that's health, whether that's relationships, whether that's career, whether that's my purpose, whether I'm trying to work on a project. There's something big that I know is not going to happen overnight necessarily, that's going to take building. But the day-to-day steps and the day-to-day things in between are what I get impatient about, and that's what I get antsy about. I've often felt in my life that I'm confused. I'm confused. I feel confusion a lot of the time. When I'm grappling with a big life decision, I will feel confusion for quite a while. Once I decide, though, it's very decisive. I'm not one of these people who goes back. Yes, I might whiffle waffle a bit, but once the decision is truly made, it is made. When I'm feeling confusion, I'm going back and forth and I'm not really sure and I'm in the fog and I don't really understand what's going on. But then suddenly the skies part and I know crystal clear, oh, this is what I want. I want to get there ASAP. I want to get there because the clarity feels good and then I just want to go. And that's not how life works. Simply because I've made the decision now, it just means I'm at the start of that journey. I still have to go through the steps. It's not like I can just, boom, teleport to wherever it is that I want to go. I have to go through those steps methodically. And this is the part that really gets me with the impatience. So underneath, I don't want to be here, is I don't trust. I don't trust that what I want is going to happen. Therefore, I want it to happen extra fast. I'm impatient to get this thing because there's a little part of me that doesn't believe that I'm going to get it or that I'm going to be able to accomplish it. Therefore, I want to get there as fast as possible. So if you are a person who's often impatient when it comes to accomplishing certain things, part of that is that you might just have a really strong desire for that thing. And that's great. I just really want this thing and I want it yesterday and I want to get there and I want to be there. But part of that impatience is I don't trust. I'm going to give you an example that I have personally experienced. And I see this a lot with entrepreneur types who are leading a company. There's a plan that's laid out. We've mapped this all out. This is what's going to happen. But then there's a certain level of impatience that might kick in and they want things done faster. And they want things done yesterday. And they want things done really, really soon. And they're not okay with the fact that this is going to take 2 months. They want it done in 2 days. You might have worked for somebody like this. Like, what do you mean? No, I want it done sooner. This needs to happen sooner. And they're pushing for that. Part of that is a lack of trust. Either I don't trust the team to get this done on time. I don't trust what's happening in the external environment, in the industry. And so we need to act right now because if we don't, we're going to lose out or there could be potential consequences. So when you are feeling impatient, particularly when it has to do with big picture things in your life, ask yourself, where is this really coming from? Is it coming from a fear that I can't actually have this thing or I can't accomplish this thing and therefore I really just want to get away from where I am right now and I want to get to over there? And I want to get over there as soon as possible? That's partially control, right? That's partially not letting things unfold. That also gets wrapped up into what we talked about earlier about expectations. I have an expectation that things are going to go this way and then this way and then that way. And I planned them to go this way and then this way and then that way. And then they're not. And then I'm going to freak out. I am going to freak out and I'm going to get upset and I'm not going to like it. All self-imposed conflict and negative emotion simply because we aren't being present in the moment and we aren't able to sit with the discomfort and sit with what impatience is trying to show us, which is, hey, it's all good. Nothing serious is happening here. It is okay. That impatience denotes a strong desire within you, but it also is an opportunity for you to just let it go and just trust that it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. And when you can relax into the moment and be a little bit easier about it, it allows you the space to let things happen. And usually things work out even better than you wanted them to. Usually there's some type of benefit in that delay. There's something that you could have potentially missed if you were rushing really fast. So sometimes in our attempt to get the hell away from where we are, because we're like, I don't want to be here. I want to be over there and I want to zoom over there as fast as possible. You might miss things along the way and you might be actually closing yourself off to additional opportunities that could be beneficial to you simply in your insistence that you get over there because you cannot deal with where you currently are. So whether that is in a grocery store line or in traffic or on hold or in an airport line, or whether that is a really big picture change and project that you have going on, impatience is your sign to go deeper and ask yourself, okay, why am I impatient? It's an opportunity for you to practice a sense of trust and also to allow yourself to be where you are. Because here's the secret and the paradox of life, which is that you cannot get to where you want to be by hating where you currently are. You can dislike where you are and use that as a jumping off point and determine, hey, I really don't like where I am, so I want to get to where I'm going. But the more that you focus on, I hate where I am, I hate where I am, I hate where I am, the more you're digging your heels into where I am, where I am, where I am. When you can acknowledge, hey, I don't like where I'm at in this one particular area of my life, whether that's a job, a relationship, a city, a state of being, your health, and you can make that choice. I want to be somewhere else, but then you have to focus on where you're going. You can't focus on where you're going if what your main energy is saying is, I hate where I am. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Versus, hey, I want to go there. I think it's going to be really great over there. I think I'm going to enjoy this and this about it. This is why I'm excited about it. This is why I'm jazzed about it. This is why I even want to do it in the first place. We've talked about this before in another podcast episode. I don't remember which one. If I do, I will put it down below. But it was about how you can't actually get to where you want to go by hating where you are or by being mean with yourself about where you are. Let's do the recap. When you feel impatient, ask yourself why. Is it because of an external factor? Is it because you have an expectation that is now mismatched with reality and that is causing discomfort and annoyance? Or is it because you just don't want to be in the present moment? Practice accepting the present moment as if you had chosen it, per the Eckhart Tolle quote. And on a deeper level, when you're trying to make bigger shifts and you're feeling impatient on the lack of progress or the speed of the progress or whatever the case may be, ask yourself why. Am I operating from a sense of I really don't like where I am, which could be fear-based, it could be anger-based, it could be discomfort-based, or am I not trusting the process and I'm trying to speed it up? May we all strive to find a little bit more patience within ourselves and with others. And may we allow each moment to be what it is without needing it to change and without needing it to be something else to feel peace of mind. Because getting crazy about the checkout line or other situations is just not, it's not the way to be. We can do better. We deserve to feel better, don't we? Yeah, we do. All right. As always, anything that I am wearing that I can link, I will leave in the description box for you below. Anything that we've talked about is also in there. And you can find a link to join Petal Spill, my email list. This has been your episode of Talk to Me Baby. I'm your host, Emily de Armas, and I will talk to you later.